Roll with the punches.
Yeah,
It's okay. Third time's the charm, boys.
All right, quick intro.
Welcome to Second Take, the podcast where we dive into the world of sports business, brought to you by the Sports Business Association. I'm your host, Diego. I'm joined by fellow board members, Sid, Jack, and Mark. And we're just here to give you our perspective on what's going on in sports. So how is everyone?
Doing well. Happy to be here. I'm excited. It's my first time actually recording the podcast, so I'm excited to get going with this year.
I second that. It's my first podcast, but I enjoy talking sports, so should have a good time.
It's not my first podcast, but I'm very excited to be here. 78 degrees outside in October. That is odd, but it's nice and the vibes are good. So let's go.
That's very true. As we're getting started, this is our first podcast. Why doesn't everybody go by and say their favorite team and their favorite sport? Diego, you want to start?
Just based off of history, favorite sport is basketball and lifelong LeBron fan, so I guess that makes me a Lakers fan or enthusiast rather.
Let's go. You're joining me at my table. I'm a lifelong basketball fan. Being from LA, I grew up a Kobe fan and a Lakers fan, and now I get to follow that on by seeing LeBron in the brow go for number 18.
I've played baseball my whole life, so I love the Yankees, but my favorite player is Bryce Harper. But my favorite athletic team is actually Notre Dame football. Yeah.
I love baseball. I also like basketball. So those both. Basketball, let's go Knicks. Absolutely. But my favorite sport is definitely baseball. The New York Mets, it's interesting, hard, but recently it's been better. This year was great. I work in baseball. I work for GW's baseball team. I love baseball. Baseball's the best. So, yeah, go Mets.
So, Mark, you mentioned you were on a podcast prior to this. So, what podcast?
It was this podcast, Second Take podcast last year.
Oh, okay.
But actually, I can tell you somebody who was there. You were there.
I was there too.
It was.
I guess it's not my first podcast.
But so I guess it's also Diego's second podcast, or maybe third, or who knows. But
First of the year. We're getting off to a
first
good
of
start.
2024,
First of the year,
2025.
first in-person podcast.
First of the best e-board ever in SBA history, and the best ever
I'll
no
second
to
diss,
this
no
point. Yeah.
diss, no diss whatsoever to last
Of
previous
course not.
year's boards.
No, but this year's better. We can admit the facts. It's okay.
For sure.
Ha.
3 out of 4 you were not on the e-board last year, so you should agree.
3 out of 4. Who was on it?
Me.
There you go. But all right, yeah, exciting time. You guys are both big baseball fans, and me and Diego are both big basketball fans. It's an exciting time. November is kind of like the change of the seasons, right? Baseball. We're lucky that New York and LA are both sitting in the World Series, and I'm really excited the basketball season's starting. But
It was the sports equinox the other day, too. All 4 major sports were on Monday night.
I did see that. Did that include? That was what NFL, NBA,
NFL, NBA, NHL, and MLB.
and MLB. I thought MLS was also in there.
They were also on, but that's
But yeah,
not a major sport.
Equinox.
Ah.
wow.
Dang.
You know one stat I saw. All 4 New York teams lost in the
Lost. I
same
saw
night,
that,
and
yeah.
that included the
Yeah.
MLS team.
Yeah. Mark was sad that day.
Well, the Yankees lost, so I was happy.
Oh, right.
Should we discuss baseball?
Have at it.
Let's
Have
do it.
at
So
Have at
the World Series is happening right now. It is Mets fans' nightmare. You have the New York Yankees, the evil empire, who I hate, against the Los Angeles Dodgers, LA, who I don't hate, but don't like them. It is a very unfortunate time to be a baseball fan. No one wanted this except for, well, MLB wanted this, but I did not want this. Maybe Shohei wanted this, but
Yeah.
very sad time. But
All Yankees and Dodger fans were celebrating, especially the Mets' demise.
Why don't we go around and talk about the series and what we think will be the outcome?
I want to hear your take.
Me first?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll start at game 1. I'm a Yankees fan, so I'm going to talk from that perspective. I'm going to say we. We were down 1-0, then,
gets it.
Stan hit that 2-run homer, which was huge. Then we go to the bottom of the 9th. We're an out away from taking a 1-0 series lead, and Boone brings in Nestor, who hasn't pitched in, I think, about over a month, to face Freeman. They should have brought in Tim Hill, who's been pitching a lot more recently the last month. So lost game 1, obviously lost game 2. Game 3 was big, expected us to win, being at home, lost, so you go down 3-0. Last night, big win. I think it shifted momentum for both of the teams. Now we have Cole tonight, should be a win. Take a travel day to LA on Friday. Obviously, I'm biased. I think we're gonna force 7 games, and then at that point, it's anyone's game.
I think you're crazy if you think you're going to force Game 7. Game 1, I just want to touch on that for a second. Game 1 was a very interesting game because with I think it was 2 outs in the actually I think it was the 10th. It was first and second. The Yankees up by 1, and they choose to walk Mookie Betts to face Freddie Freeman. That's a move that I think is interesting. I don't know if I would have done that because I think Betts and Freeman are both fantastic. You don't walk a batter. You don't walk a batter moving him up to third base. Of course, the Dodgers won. I think the Dodgers are going to win this series. I'm very confident in that. They might not win tonight. Garrett Cole is very good, but if they don't win tonight, going back to LA, Game 6, having a day off tomorrow, I think the Dodgers are going to win in 6. So
I'd like to point out that Anthony Volpe has more World Series home runs than Shohei Ohtani.
Interesting.
Well, you're down 3-1, so that's kind of what matters.
Someone put that in basketball terms, please.
Bronny has more 3-pointers made than Anthony Edwards.
It's a pretty good comparison.
Or
I see it.
yeah.
I see.
Do you have any strong feelings with the World Series, Diego?
Definitely. So this is the 12th time the Yankees and Dodgers have met in the postseason. I'm not reading, by the way. Dating back to when both teams were based in New York. Do you guys know that the Dodgers were based in New York?
Yes, and
point?
they are
Brooklyn
traitors forever
Dodgers.
leaving. If they were still in New York, I would be a Dodgers fan, but they're not. So they're traitors.
I saw this thing that said the Giants and the Dodgers both used to be in New York,
Yes,
and by them leaving, then the Mets were founded, and they took the colors of both
they
teams.
did in the
That's true?
50s.
I never
yes,
knew that.
in the 50s, both teams are traitors for leaving the best city on earth, New York City,
The
better
best
than LA.
city? Is that confirmed?
Yeah, I think it's a fact. Actually, I would make the argument, but
Interesting.
the Dodgers are very good, of course, and I think the Dodgers will win. I will admit jealousy. They are a very good team. I will say this: you can say that they're. What was that?
Interesting.
Well, that proves my point that the Dodgers are.
No, that's how he feels to be a Mets fan right now.
That's how I feel seeing these two teams, but I think the Yankees are going to lose. We don't want to parade down Fifth Avenue. We don't want it. We want the Knicks. We don't want the Yankees.
I
I don't
can
want
give-
the Knicks, man.
I can give my feedback. So as a Dodgers fan, it's been great to see my team celebrate. For Freddie going off, it's been an impeccable run. I think right now he's sitting at 6 consecutive World Series games with a home run, and so that includes 2 games in the previous time he was in the World Series. So that's pretty insane to me.
2021 for Atlanta.
Right? Yeah, for Atlanta, got it. But I want to ask. So yeah, specifically on that play, I think that third and second base were full, so that's why Aaron Boone had the option to walk Mookie Betts. But I want to ask Jack, you think that that it was good that he did sub out the current pitcher? You just think he made the wrong choice as to who came in?
Yeah, well, you want the lefty-lefty matchup with Freeman. I just thought he chose the wrong lefty. Tim Hill's been pitching for the last month in the postseason, and Nestor hasn't pitched in over a month. So I feel like that's honestly just common sense. But Boone knows his players a lot better than I do, of course.
Gotcha. Okay, so it was a lefty-lefty matchup.
You know, I believe, and this is controversial, that he should not have walked Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is a great player. So is Freddie Freeman. What could have happened was you moved Freddie Freeman. You moved the go-ahead run up to third, or tying run to third. Go ahead run up to second. A single could have tied it. Of course, Freddie did hit the walk-off, so it didn't matter. But I think Freddie Freeman is being underrated. He is one of the best. He's the best first baseman in baseball. We seem to forget that. Betts is great too.
I completely agree. The Dodgers are kind of playing with basically 3 MVPs on their team, and they got Tommy
rigged.
Edman. Yeah,
It's rigged.
It's rigged.
Tom Edman is a very underrated player. He's very good too.
Yeah,
Oscar
he won
Hernandez,
the
Will Smith. Yeah.
championship round MVP, right?
Can we talk about the fan that tried to take the ball out of
Yeah,
Mookie
so I
Betts'
did see
glove?
that is
Please.
He should be
insane.
permanently banned from any Yankees game ever.
He is a current day hero for the Yankees.
That's
Wait, so
He's
would
a
they
criminal.
count it as home run?
No,
or-
went out. It was in his glove, and the fan
Oh,
was trying to take his
yeah.
glove off, and the
not
ball
only
out
the
of his
fan,
hand.
his buddy held Mookie Betts' wrist and tried to pry
That's
open the glove.
That is the average Yankees fan. Aggressive,
Mm.
violent. It's like Philly. We don't support that. Dodgers, for that reason, should be awarded the World Series. Just
I
for
would
that
have
reason
Should
alone.
forfeit.
I would have loved for this to be an unbiased podcast, but I don't think that's what's happening at this
Never,
point.
never in life will a podcast be biased in any
Oh,
sense.
I could try to be unbiased, but the Dodgers are up 3-1.
I think it's less fun than this.
I feel like
Yeah.
I'm being pretty unbiased.
Yep,
right? I mean, I
perhaps.
said we for the Yankees, but I feel like that's okay.
I just genuinely think sports fans are too comfortable around athletes. Like, I think that's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely comedy, but that just shouldn't be happening, and that fan should probably get banned. Can't lie.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of instances of that. I can think back to like 2018 when like Russell Westbrook was on the MVP tour and he went to Philadelphia and got 2 middle fingers by the guy in the first row. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, and just people throwing their beers and popcorn at players while they're walking out or onto the court, field, or whatever. It's just what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Again, speaking about throwing beers on the field, that's a Yankee Stadium thing to do. So
this guy
I'm
really doesn't
tired
like
of the Yankees slander.
Yeah.
I don't
Who's
know
still
anything else.
playing now? The Yankees.
Yeah,
Who
I
is in Cancun? The Mets.
Yeah, I think the Mets fan over here is just really upset. This is really upset. How did you? How did you feel about the championship series?
I think the Mets.
Lost admirably.
Yes, we lost in 6 games. We had a great run. This team was, I think it was 21 and 32. That might not be exactly right, but we were 11 games below 500. Actually, I went to the game against the Dodgers in May. That is very aggressive. Wow.
And you got to remember the start the Mets had. They were 0-5. They were getting like no hit through 7 on their 6th game. There was
Yeah.
no one in the
slandering your
stadium.
team, man.
No,
Well,
I'm giving them.
As
credit.
Like comeback. Okay.
well, as our great announcer Gary Cohen said, 0-5 to OMG. What a ride! That's exactly right. We might have lost to the Dodgers. Dodgers are a great team. It's an admirable win. We beat Philly, so we lost this year. Back next year, I'll take it. Good for the Dodgers. Good for the Yankees. But it's a great year.
I have a question mark. Sorry, Diego.
No problem.
Do you think Pete Alonso will come back? And also a 2-part question: Alonso to the Mets, and what do you think is going to happen with Soto?
It's a fantastic question.
Don't say like both of them to the Mets.
No,
Give
I don't.
me
I
a
don't
real
believe.
answer.
Well, I will say whatever I feel like is correct. Thank you very much, Mr. Jack. For your sake, I do not believe that Juan Soto will leave the Yankees. I think he will stay. I believe Alonso will stay with the Mets. I believe both. I think for both teams, Soto is their priority, Mets and the Yankees. If the Mets will offer a crazy contract to Soto, and I expect him to consider it, the Yankees will offer the same or counter and in the range. He will go back to New York with the Yankees. Alonso will go to the Mets. They Mets have all the money. So the Yankees, but the Mets have proven that they will spend as much as they need, and I think they will get. But I think Soto just wants to stay with the Yankees. The Dodgers, though, and I'll say this, as much as I hate to say it, Juan Soto. There were rumors recently. Possible he signs with the Dodgers. I think it's unlikely still, but
That would be sick. Like
That would be horrible.
as in, like disgustingly bad.
NBA terms.
Literally KD leaving and going to Golden State because they
Yeah.
lost to
Money
Golden State the
chapter.
round before.
Oh.
no, I
man.
think it's a KD, LeBron, Stephen Curry, like everybody.
It's if the Olympic team was on the Lakers, basically. That's what would
Yeah,
happen.
exactly.
I see. I see.
So we'll see. I think it's gonna be a good offseason. I love the offseason because I love the data and how it all plays in the offseason.
Yeah, so I just thought of this. How much do you guys value or want to follow certain players just because they're from where you were born or where you're from?
I think it definitely creates like some type of relationship or some type of like, okay, that's really cool. Like it makes you feel some liking towards them. I think Giancarlo Stanton went to like a rival high school of mine in Los Angeles, and Jack Flaherty did too. So when they face off against each other, it was like a high school matchup from LA, and I was like,
fun.
oh, that's kind of cool. Something that me and my friends pointed out. So I think it adds a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll say this. Again, I know you're from Puerto Rico, correct? Puerto Rico has, I mean, especially in baseball, the athletes are. I mean, the Mets have Lindor and Diaz, 2 of the best players in the game.
Shout out.
I love them. They are great. Frankie, Mr. Smile, I love him. New York is not known for that as much, especially as California. We don't have as many athletes to come from our area. My dad's from Connecticut, and the Mets have a third baseman by the name of Mark Vientos, who is from, I think he actually might be originally from, I think his family is Dominican, but he is from Connecticut, so that's cool because he's from the home state. But New York is not known for that, but it is pretty cool.
So is that how you got your name, or is there no?
He's become good this year. This is his second year in the year.
Okay.
And I am 20
So
years.
no correlation.
20 years young, so I don't think that I don't think so, but fun idea. What do you think, Jack?
I think with the Yanks, I think you guys know Volpe is from New Jersey. He went to Del Bar, and that's pretty close to where I went to high school. So I think that, I'll root for him anyway, but I think it's extra cool that he grew up kind of close to where I did.
Yeah, and I think there was a picture of him posted kind of either at a World Series at the
when he was
Yankees parade, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think you could also add Harrison Bader, who's former Yankees center fielder, Mets center fielder this year. He is from New York City. Or Bronxville. He went to Horace Mann, which is a very well-known school in New York. So given that, I think that was really cool. Just cool to have hometown people and people who are starting. It's not common from New York, so it's pretty cool to see. Jersey, same thing. So.
Yeah, makes you able to relate to them, kind of, right?
Yeah, it's not too common in basketball, which is what I mostly follow. There's one current player that I'm fully in knowledge of, Pelicans player. If anyone knows, shout out to you guys.
Who?
What are you talking
What are
about?
you talking about?
You don't know active Pelicans player who's from Puerto Rico?
You talking about Jose Alvarado? No.
Yes,
Jose
sir.
Alvarado.
Yes, sir. From Puerto Rico.
And then Al Horford, I don't know exactly where he's from, right?
He's Dominican.
He's Dominican, but
Yeah.
he was the first player to bring kind of the NBA trophy to the DR, I guess. Right?
So I'm not a Pelicans fan, but every time that you find out about someone from where you are from, and then especially being from everyone in Puerto Rico goes crazy about the Puerto Rican pros, and it's just something beautiful to come out of Puerto Rico and just be able to represent in any capacity. I just remember last season playing game, Pelicans were playing the Lakers, and Jose, he rolled his ankle twice, and he stayed in the game, and I was rooting for the Lakers, but that was just something crazy to see, you know what I mean? And yeah, that was being from somewhere and having someone come out and represent you is something amazing.
Yeah, really dope.
Yeah.
I see that a lot with Indian American players. I think that's really becoming popular in baseball, actually, right? There's a couple kind of firsts or
I'm forgetting the names, but I know there are many. Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah, but it's only just starting, right?
It has, yeah. There's been a
then-
few. I'm losing the names, but there are a few, yeah.
And then to your point, Diego, I think also it's really cool when you see a player, even though it's on the opposing team or somebody you're kind of hoping doesn't do as well because they're against your team, but if they're rolling their ankle or go through an injury and still battling, it earns your respect.
Yeah, and just to talk about the Olympics, Puerto Rico was in a very, very, very hard group. There was the U.S., South Sudan. Who's the other team? Was it? Who was the other team actually?
For what sport?
This is the Olympics.
Basketball. So it was U.S., Puerto Rico, South Sudan, and I want to say Greece.
No, it wasn't.
But no, it's not Greece, right?
Maybe
Yeah.
France. I don't remember.
Nah, because France played Greece.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly, but I did see the U.S. South Sudan game was really competitive.
Insanity.
Yeah.
So yeah, Puerto Rico didn't win any of the games, but
I mean, basketball is maybe not their sport, but if you go to baseball, that is
Yeah.
they were really good.
yeah, no, there's baseball academies that people are the most prided when they go there. Shout out also. Shout out.
Shout out Francisco Lindor
Shout out
Mr.
Francisco
Smile.
Lindor.
and Diaz.
Man.
Yeah, but adding on to what you said about if you having players who I guess share your identity. There are very few Jewish players in the game, and as somebody who is Jewish, it is really cool to see athletes such as Alex Bregman, Max Fried. You probably know Sandy Koufax. That's of course somebody who played a long time ago, but just cool to see representation. Harrison Bader also was Jewish, so it's cool to see that. So I feel that end of it. But New York is not known for sports, but New York is not known for athletes coming from New York. But
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, especially there's so many people from India. across the world, but then like,
1.5 billion. Right?
yeah,
4 billion.
exactly. Is almost up to 2 billion. I mean, probably I think more than 2 billion at this point. But you don't see almost any of them in American sports. So, and I remember just whenever there's a big prospect coming, I think Sim Bular was the Indian player who I remember was like a
Oh, it's Kumar Rocker.
Kumar
Kumar.
Rocker
Well, that's one of them. He's a
baseball.
starting pitcher for the Texas Rangers. I know his name because the Mets drafted him and then did not sign him in 2021. But yeah, he was pretty good. Kumar Rocker.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
he's the one. I got it. There you go.
There you go.
Wait, so is baseball getting big in India?
Cricket. I know cricket's big. It's
Cricket's
somewhat
cricket's
similar.
huge. It's
I saw that,
already
yeah,
it's about to be make its debut as an Olympic sport
It's
in,
fun.
with the next Olympics.
Interesting.
Shout out to
some-
Dr. Lisa Delphi Narati, who
Oh my God.
who's all involved with Olympics, and
Yeah, very good.
we've talked about that at length. But yeah, I mean, baseball's huge in like Japan, South Korea, a lot of Latin America, of course here. Not really in India, but maybe we'll expand there.
When we were at MLB during Sync, I thought they did mention India as kind of a future prospect for them to expand the game there.
Yeah, I think there's already been efforts. I remember there was that movie that came out. I think it's called like $1 Million Arm or something.
Mhm.
That was almost, I want to say 10 years ago or
A
something.
long time ago, yeah.
But yeah, it's crazy. Actually, I did not know how big of a market Japan was for them. Now it's
They
insane.
love it. It's huge.
Would it be safe to say that the NBA was the first sport to really have like international well, actually no, that's a lie.
Soccer, I think,
Or
is
football.
But like
but-
in the US, yeah, football. But
That's
in the US,
hmm
probably the NBA is the biggest or the first sport to have a majority of
have a global audience.
and players. I
Mhm.
think for the past like what is it, 6 seasons, the
MVP.
the MVPs have not been from the
America.
US.
Yeah.
Best players currently are not from the US. Luka, he's a dog.
Luka, Jokic, Giannis.
Giannis, yeah.
Shea, who's
Embiid.
Canadian.
Yeah, Shea's from Canada. We don't like Embiid. Sorry, not a fan.
I mean, I'm not a Sixers fan.
not
either.
a
He was
fan. Not
pretty
a
good.
fan.
No, but you're right. I mean, NBA definitely is I think ahead of all. I mean, especially we look at like in China, for example, that's a huge one where NBA is huge, and in Eastern Europe,
Oh
Mhm.
yeah,
it's huge.
European basketball. Some say it's harder than the NBA. And I don't.
Yeah.
I don't,
Seems like a hot take, but
I don't know about that. Yeah. They say because it's more schematic or whatever. But I don't know. Because like, why don't players want to play there? You know what I mean? Like if
Yeah.
you're good at basketball, you want to come to the NBA.
I mean, it's the NBA, it's the United States, it's yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
What do you think of the season this year? How are you feeling about your Lakers and the great Knicks?
I'm very excited. Lakers are off to a great start. We dropped our first game. What was it? I think it was last night. It might have been the night before.
night before.
Uh,
That's
yeah.
good. That's
yeah.
fantastic news. I'm kidding.
It is because we started 3-0, and I'm very
That's
happy.
also really sad
Mind
too.
you, it's the first season in some time that we haven't won our opener. So,
Haven't lost the opener.
sorry.
This is the first time you've won the opener.
No, yeah,
Wow.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, first time since like
Since
2012.
Yeah, it's been
right?
some time.
12 years. That's a long time.
Yeah.
Or 13 maybe. 2 at 12.
Do you guys like JJ Redick as a coach so far? I mean, obviously you're 3-1. You're gonna say yes, but
Well, he's never been a coach, so that's the only thing I'm kind of worried about. But like not so much that, because I think that pretty much anything from Darvin Ham is a step in the right direction.
Completely agree.
But what I'm worried about is we didn't make that many moves in the off season. Dalton Connect, Bronny.
Yeah,
bench
those are just
players.
our rookie picks.
Bronny's going to win you the
Rookie of the
championship.
year.
What do you think?
Uh,
No, it's not gonna be him, but
No chance.
no, but it all comes into play with like talking about contracts and talking about like how the league is structured with their finances. Lakers are in a tough position because like they kind of are financially restricted from adding anybody, so we kind of forced to just run it back. I'm very happy with the draft selection of Dalton Connect.
Oh yeah, Dalton Connect. It's pretty good.
He's
He's pretty good
been-
at
I
basketball.
have 2 questions about the Lakers for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
One about JJ Redick. Do you think he's kind of just like what LeBron kind of wants to say, but as the coach? Like, are you nervous about that, or you think like he's his own coach, saying his own stuff?
Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
I can speak on it.
If you think about it, they had a podcast together over the summer. Bron and JJ Redick. So they might have been just like that. Might have been just a clean, discreet way of telling us, or just telling him like you need to lead us. I think players or like the big players have a lot of say in what goes on on their team, whether management hides that or not. And Bron is obviously the leader. You know, whatever the coach calls, if Bron calls something else, it's gonna get done. No glaze. So yeah, I think JJ Redick will be good in terms of developmental, for developmental purposes, for the younger players. But you know, it's still Bron's shot being called, so yeah, I think it's a good
yeah, I agree with you in some aspects.
situation.
I think it's definitely important to get LeBron and AD's voice at least out there on the court, or at least I think it's important for both coaches and players to be on the same page. I think there wasn't a lot of that last year with Darvin Ham. JJ Redick obviously has never been a coach for in the NBA, or has not been a coach in any other sport, but he was a 15-year NBA veteran and studied the game at Duke for, I think he played 4 years. And I, at least just from what I saw from a bystander, his experience last year, I was an avid listener to his podcast and the Mind the Game with LeBron, but then also before that, when he was running his own podcast, you can just tell that the guy knows basketball and kind of knows the scheme and kind of all the small off-ball movements that are there. And I think those are very important to incorporate. So I mean, I think he's going to lead the Lakers in a much better way than they've been led before. Do I think? I mean, but there's also a changing of the tides. You know, LeBron's in his 22nd year. We really want to see AD be the focal point of the offense a lot more. And I like how he's running plays for shooters with the league going he's working a 5-out offense. All the shooters are spaced around the perimeter. I think it'll be a really good move. I don't think it's just him. It's just LeBron's voice. I think he and JJ Redick might clash actually a little bit. They could, in regards to some of the lineups that are out there. But I think having, this year, honestly, I would say that they might have a higher rating with LeBron off the court and with their shooters around AD. But we're just see. Hot take, yeah.
I have a question. Do you think that this could? I mean, maybe you don't, but do any of you think that this could represent individual athletes having too much say in the hiring of coaches? I feel like recently, I mean, the Jets have not been playing well, but they fired, was it their head coach or offensive line?
Yeah, Robert Saleh.
Because of, their star.
Well, I mean,
wanted it, so.
I wouldn't say it's solely based off what the players say. We need to look at performance. The guy was there for 2 seasons, and
they were 2-5, and now they're 2-6 or whatever.
Wait, what do you mean?
What do you do? What?
The Jets were I'm saying they're playing really poorly.
Jets.
Oh.
We were talking basketball.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking about Aaron Rodgers. You know how they fired.
Oh yeah,
their coach.
But didn't he say that he had no sort of
I don't believe him.
with that?
He did say that, but I don't believe it.
Yeah.
But I mean, fine. But I mean, about the Lakers.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I just think it was time for the Lakers to make a change. But I think that JJ Redick is is an established basketball mind. In the 1 year that he was retired, he was being commentator for the NBA Finals. I think if anybody who saw him be able to draw plays and talk about basketball, definitely can see that he knows what he's talking about, and he would make an exceptional coach. I don't think it's just LeBron's kind of what the players want. I think we're seeing a lot of great coaches like Joe Mazzulla for the Celtics, being a basketball savant and just kind of
dog. He's a dog.
Yeah, he's a dog and kind of is able to control his team and honestly put them in the best position to win. And that's what I think JJ is going to be able to do, not just kind of be a voice for the players.
Yeah, so it's important for the players to like the coach, but you also have to look at the performance, and I don't think Darvin Ham was really doing that. So yeah, that's a summarized response to your question.
But how do you feel about the Jets are kind of
I'm not a big NFL fan, but and I do follow New York sports, especially as a New York fan. I'm not sure if I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm not sure what Jack thinks, but Jets are just really poor, really not playing very well. They have a good team. I think Aaron Rodgers is just kind of. Is he 40? He's not 40. He's 39 or whatever. I think it's the end of his career nearly, and I think the Jets it hasn't worked out, which is very unfortunate. New York football is not that well. The Bills are very good, but New York City football, or technically New Jersey, has not done very well. The Jets are not good, but yeah. What do you?
Kind of outdated, but Tom Brady, man, that guy does not want to retire. Well, did not want to.
He retired and he came back, right?
Yes, and like
You think there's any way he unretires right now?
No, he's too old now.
if anyone gives him an offer, he might want to go back.
But how far do you, I mean, as big like, as diehard Lakers fans, the two of you, how far are they going this year?
Oh, that's a tough question. The Western Conference is extremely packed.
It's true.
There's like 6 or 7 teams out of the 8 slots that people would look at and be like, oh, they're shoo-ins to go to the second round at least, and that's impossible. I definitely think the Lakers will go well, especially with AD playing the way that he has been. I honestly think AD could win the MVP with the way he's playing.
Oh, he
He's averaging
should.
30.
He should.
We'll see.
Yeah, but I hope at least we'll make it past the first round, go into the second round. I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, I think our performance was between last season and the previous one is directly correlated to how AD was playing. 2 years ago, Western Conference Final against the Nuggets, the guy was so iffy. And then last season, he was balling, and we lost earlier, but I think our overall performance game to game was better, given his consistency. So if AD keeps it up, I think we should do a solid run. So I wanted to go around and ask, what are the teams that you think will go far, and also a dark horse team, so a team that ranking wise or stats wise shouldn't do that good but probably could.
And in the NBA, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Gotcha. Kind of a pretty loaded question. I wish we could go into this in more detail. Before the season started, I was gonna say a dark horse team would have definitely been the Pelicans. They just traded for DeJounte Murray to kind of be their de facto guard, and they still have the core of Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, and then they lost their center. But now I think the first game of the year, DeJounte had an injury to his wrist, so we'll see how that goes for them. I think they're kind of going to be now moved from. I thought they were going to be an 8 seed. Now they're probably going to be 11 to 13 in that area.
Interesting.
I guess the biggest dark horse that I could mention, or the kind of unknown one, I guess, is the Spurs. Wembanyama could carry this team to, and that would be quite insane with the roster that they have, because it's really not that great.
Chris Paul, CP0. It's the guy.
Is he wearing number 0 now?
Nah, 0 rings.
Oh, CP 0 rings.
Zero
Yeah, of
rings.
course.
Remember he said he was addicted to the playoff feeling, and
He's
he
gone
hasn't been
sober.
back since. He's gone sober since that comment.
Bro attended AA.
Okay.
I can't really talk much about NBA dark horse, but any of that, I don't know that much about the NBA. But I like the Thunder. Honestly, I like kind of the vibe they have. They're young.
It's a good team.
I like SGA. I like Jet. They traded Giddey.
Mm-hmm. This is a good move for them.
Was it? I honestly don't have any idea. But when the Knicks are in the playoffs, I root for the Knicks. But I'm also a fan of LeBron, so I'd like to see them go far. That would be a pretty cool finals matchup, even though unlikely.
This is a tough one. I'm also a big Knicks fan, so I'd love to say them, but I think I'd be lying if I did. I think they maybe will get to the third round, but not beyond that. I will say I think it'll be Boston versus Oklahoma City as well. I like Oklahoma City.
Do you think Boston is running it back?
No, I think Oklahoma City is going to win, but I like both of them. This is weird. I kind of like the Houston Rockets. I don't know if you call it I think they're 41 last year or something near that.
Yeah, they were about 500, even.
They're a very young team. I believe that they are still coming together, and I think they could be surprising. The West is really tough, so I'm not sure. Maybe not, but I like them. I think the East is kind of established, but yeah, we'll see.
The Rockets are a true dark horse. I like that pick.
Yeah,
Mike.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
So a team that I think can make it far or better than last year is Philly. So if not for Bron, I'm a Paul George fan. And I think, he's definitely not going to be the number one option there, but I think he can be a good deal of support for them. So I think Philly's probably my dark horse. Can't I?
Yeah, I would say, Philly can do well if all three are healthy. If they're
Tyrese Maxey.
Tyrese Maxey
He's very
is gonna
good.
go off, and he's going to get a lot of opportunities with, Embiid and Paul George both kind of seeming to be injured or kind of I definitely don't think either are playing a full season.
Oh yeah,
definitely not.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
definitely not.
And again, I have to talk about the Knicks. I have to.
Go ahead.
I love the
Go ahead,
Knicks.
go ahead,
I
go
love the Knicks, and I know it's kind of a joke now, but love the Knicks. Really good team. I really do believe that we are good this year. However, I know we talked about, we've talked about this a lot before. I'm interested to hear what everyone thinks about the Cat trade. Trading him for Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle. I am undecided. I'm kind of like, I was very happy when it happened as a Knicks fan, but I am a little, I don't know, kind of undecided. I wonder what you all think.
Who wants to start?
I can. I want to hear.
I mean, I think it's too early to say right now. It's 3 games in. I mean, Cat's obviously a great player, but it's just kind of too early to tell how he's performed yet. It's with such a small sample size.
Yeah, definitely too early to make a direct decision about it. I remember when the news dropped. I think it was like 11 p.m. at night. And I just didn't know how to feel. It was pretty uneasy. Seems like a really interesting trade, trading Cat for Julius and Dante. But I guess if you want to think about it this way, you get the benefits of Dante's shooting in a big man with Karl Anthony Towns, and I think that's really what the Knicks were missing, right? I don't think that coming into this year they had a starting big man or a starting center. With them losing Hartenstein and with Mitch Robinson being out at least until January. So that definitely helps, but I do think it's a pretty big downgrade for the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards is going to have to pick up a lot more of the slack than kind of being a two-headed monster. I wish that, Julius Randle was playing all-star quality. I guess we'll just wait and hope that, that the honeymoon phase kind of gets better. But I definitely do like Dante. I thought he was going to have a big year with the Knicks. I hope he's able to take a big role with the Timberwolves because he was doing amazing. So we'll see how that goes.
So I'm not sure about performance-wise, but I think the trade was not very good for morale, considering Jalen Brunson's taking huge pay cuts. And, so that just kind of leads me to believe that the trade was kind of unknown for both parties. So, I mean, players and like us on the other side as viewers. So I don't think that trade is very good for morale, but I don't know. I don't know. So I went to a Knicks game, Knicks Wizards preseason, and Cat. I don't know about Cat, man. Like, I don't know.
What did you see from him in that game?
I don't know. Like, he was probably just I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe
you're just undecided.
Maybe I'm just not a fan.
God,
maybe I'm just not a fan. But I don't know. I don't know about the Knicks.
I like him. I just don't know if maybe he was the right fit for this team. But I believe that is he usually a center? That's not usually his position, right?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He got drafted as a center, but he was playing last year as a power forward because they had a great defensive center, and Cat's main liability has been defense. So maybe if the Knicks kind of play him in that 4 role with Mitchell Robinson when he comes back, that would be better. But it's kind of weird right now with him at the center. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I really liked Isaiah Hartenstein. He was very good defensively. He was just a good player. He fit very well with their team. I liked him last year. I really wish that he was back. He's not. I think Cat's good. I'm not sure if maybe he's exactly what they need. I am not crying about losing Randall at all. I'm kind of happy he's kind of out of New York.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's kind of a ball hog. I really like.
Do you know what I'm laughing about? Like that Centel post about like.
I like Dante. But
Anthony Edwards when he's calling for an ISO and Julius Randle.
Just dribbling.
So, I'm right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're pretty good for time. I think it's gonna be a very exciting season. Make sure to stay on top of the SBA and Second Take. Don't forget to follow us on social media. And thank you for joining us today on Second Take. Thank you, guys.
Cheers.
Should I hit this?
Yeah.
Sorry if I talk too much. I didn't.